Restoring ecosystems is crucial to help combat climate change and achieve sustainable development.
President Buhari speaks on Nigeria's commitments as UNEP Nairobi Summit seeks increased global efforts on climate change.
If we implement the Great Green Wall project, majority of the crisis that we're having in the Sahel region, in the northern part of Nigeria, will be greatly reduced.
On desertification control, federal government evolves multi-sectoral combat approach.
As we continue to improve overall power supply levels, our investment have improved.
40 billion Naira resolution fund paves way for more investment opportunities in power sector.
The reality is that the flight has been rescheduled to tomorrow.
Also tonight, evacuation flight for Nigerians from Poland to arrive early Friday. Good evening. Welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stover in Abuja. Michael Olale joins us from Lagos, while Kemi Akiwandi is in Ibadan. And you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, on YouTube channel, NTA News Online. You can also visit our Twitter handle at NTA News Now, Facebook page, NTA Network News, and Instagram, NTA Network. President Muhammadu Buhari has stressed the urgent need for broader multilateral action towards overcoming climate change, biodiversity, rising levels of pollution and waste, which he describes as major crises threatening the planet. This was while addressing a special session commemorating the 50th anniversary of the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, in Nairobi, Kenya. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that the hybrid event is focusing on strengthening UNEP for the implementation of the environmental dimension of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
For 5 decades, the United Nations Environment Programme has used science in the execution of its mandate of bringing the world together and helping nations find solutions to great environmental threats. The UNEP at 50 celebration is therefore a time to reflect on the past, envision the future, bolster international cooperation, and stimulate collective action towards addressing climate crisis and make the environment safer, healthier and better.
Led humanity to understand that we must transform our societies and economies to protect the earth, our only home, so that it can sustain us.
In all we do, we need to follow science and engage in multilateral action to make peace with nature, to ensure these and future generations can live on a sustainable planet.
Let us therefore commit to support UNEP, to steer the environmental discussions towards tangible and sustainable solutions. Unchecked climate change will pose unacceptable risks to our security, our economies, and indeed our planet.
President Muhammadu Buhari expressed Nigeria's appreciation to UNEP for its role in reducing biodiversity loss and for being a major player in the global movement to slow down deforestation and accelerate afforestation.
We recognize that restoring key ecosystems is crucial to help combat climate change and achieve sustainable development. Therefore, by collaborating with partners such as the United Nations Environment Programme, we believe that much more success would be recorded in collective struggle against climate change.
He, however, said global efforts at adapting to climate impacts notwithstanding, nations are constantly facing the threats of disrupted weather patterns, low food production, and rising sea levels that increase the risk of catastrophic flooding, amongst other challenges.
In that regard, Nigeria pledged to work with other countries in achieving the goals of the Paris Agreement, and in doing so has increased her conditional contribution to reduce greenhouse gas from 45% to 47%. Additionally, I outlined Nigeria's efforts and commitments to net zero emission, which involve both environment and development-related plans.
The plans, he explained, contained a number of nature-based solutions, including creating 10 additional national parks, 2 marine protected areas, as well as sustainable management of critical wetlands ecosystem across the country. Established with one goal in mind, uniting the world in saving the planet, the United Nations Environment Programme has a strong view that the global community cannot continue to pollute its way to development in the name of progress. Concerted efforts, it says, must be made towards building the future we want. From Nairobi, Kenya, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The Federal Ministries of Environment, Water Resources, as well as Agriculture and Rural Development have been directed to collaborate more effectively towards controlling and combating desertification in the country. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the directive while granting audience to the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, Ibrahim Tho, on the margins of the UNEP at 50 celebration in Nairobi, Kenya. Here again is Adamu Sambu with the report.
Mr. Ibrahim Tho had told President Muhammadu Buhari that in the past 50 years, Africa lost about 60% of its arable land, leading to a challenge of feeding the people. He said no one qualifies more to speak on the large-scale restoration of land than the Nigerian leader, who is also the president of the Great Green Wall program. With Nigeria having the greatest stretch of the wall spanning over 1,000 kilometers, the UN envoy said President Buhari's leadership is important to drive the process of tackling the various germane issues on desertification, drought, and land restoration.
The United Nations agencies are quite excited about Nigeria's presidency, that they feel that if anyone can make a difference in the implementation of the Great Green Wall projects, it would be Nigeria. So we've talked of areas of collaboration where they can give technical support for us to expand on the Great Green Wall projects.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who described desertification as inimical to peace, security, and sustainable growth, said concerted efforts must be intensified towards addressing the menace. He said apart from the ministries and departments of the federal government, the 11 states prone to drought and desert encroachment must also key in to the onerous task of controlling desertification.
Mr. President has always been very concerned about the issues of the livelihoods of our people. That is why he signed the climate change bill that has taken Nigeria 9 years to get to. He is very excited about the Great Green Wall project. He realizes when it was set up, that agency was set up in 2015. In fact, under the UN Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohammed, and we have been running the program. So he's giving all the support to make sure that Nigeria accelerates that program, because the component of the Great Green Wall, it goes beyond just planting of trees. It goes to land degradation, it goes to the livelihood of people, it goes to water, providing water for the people, and it goes to animal husbandry and rural electrification as well. Because if we implement the Great Green Wall project, majority of the crisis that we're having in the Sahel region, in the northern part of Nigeria, will be greatly reduced.
The president equally directed full cooperation between Nigeria and the UN organ in the prelude to the forthcoming meeting towards combating desertification built for Cote d'Ivoire in May this year. From Nairobi, Kenya, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And turning to news in Abuja, there are talks of significant progress being achieved towards resolving financial challenges in the power sector as the federal government affirms commitment to increase investments in the sector. Now, in line with this, the federal government says it will utilize a 40 billion naira intervention fund to offset all verifiable debts owed by ministries, departments and agencies in the power sector this March. State House correspondent Jide Onifadi reports.
Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu speaking at the weekly executive briefing of press at the Presidential Villa in Abuja on the current status of the presidential power initiatives and other key projects being undertaken by the ministry. He says 8,000 megawatts of power is presently being generated in the country, and that the federal government has just secured and it's executing up to $4 billion in investments to ensure more power grid is delivered to the people.
Discourse that improve will continue to get support with discourse well discussed that do not will face the commercial consequences. There are challenges in the sector, but the outlook is positive. As a testament, we are seeing a private sector investment resurgence. BPE closed the Yola Disco and AFAM 3 Genco transaction and also facilitated resolution of the long-standing ABA IPP issue, resulting in over 150 billion naira in investment in the sector, to mention a few.
One major hindrance to the completion of projects is the right of way, and the minister says this is happening across the country, but the ministry is already having talks with state governments.
As we continue to improve overall power supply levels, our investment have improved stability of the grid through the efforts of our system operator under TCN. Under this administration, grid stability has drastically improved. In 2021, the nation only had 2 adverse grid events.
With more investors coming into the sector, the minister is optimistic that there would be significant improvement in the power sector before the end of the administration. And as he describes it, the sector is a stage where everyone plays his or her own part. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Meanwhile, focus is also shifting to harnessing opportunities in the renewable energy subsector to increase access to power and create more jobs. Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu, who said this at a renewable energy summit in Abuja, called for increased private sector participation for the country to attain 30% renewable energy mix by the year 2030. Joshua Ujito reports.
The world is going green, with countries committed to the reduction of carbon emission with a view to achieving net zero. Nigeria targets 2060 to achieve this. Key players in the renewable energy subsector are exploring opportunities in the energy transition value chain, and the power minister believes it is achievable with ongoing investments in solar home systems.
I have no doubt that as we engage in deliberations and interactions with key stakeholders in the energy transition discourse, useful recommendations will be developed that will move our country forward.
We should start looking at the utility scale, 50 megawatts, 100 megawatts. With that, we are going to sit down and come up with an integrated renewable energy plan.
So we are going back to the drawing board to make sure that we prepare very well for the energy mix through renewable energy sources.
With the private sector participation, I believe that in the next 5 years, we can be able to generate 10,000 megawatts from renewable energy source alone.
High cost of renewable energy technologies and land acquisition are some of the challenges raised by private investors that need government intervention. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
The Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice says it has received an extradition request from the diplomatic representative of the U.S. Embassy in Abuja in respect of suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari. A statement by the Special Assistant to the Minister of Justice and Media and Public Relations, Umar Jibril Ugwandu, describes extradition as a process that involves multifaceted components which are usually multi-territorial, international, local, and judicial. It said submission of requests from the concerned party to the relevant authorities constitutes one of such components. It added that the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice will, after thorough studies and reviews of issues regarding the application and components, process the application and forward same to the relevant authorities for further necessary action. The air component of Operation Thunderstrike and Operation Gamma Aiki has carried out airstrikes on bandit terrorist locations around Ghana village in Mariga local government area of Niger State. A statement from the Nigerian Air Force indicates that the operation took place on Wednesday, the 2nd of March 2022, on terrorists who had been under surveillance and observed to be in 3 different groups of approximately 65 terrorists with at least 25 motorcycles per group. Following definite confirmation, the air component effected the airstrikes with no less than 80 terrorists and their equipment perishing in the strikes, although a small number of survivors were however seen barely limping off from the location, which the ground troops immediately neutralized. And it's time for our first break on the news. Stay with us.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. If the farm say you sabi, you want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
In view of the number of requests, inquiries, and challenges encountered by the tax-paying public in sourcing for foreign currencies to offset outstanding tax liabilities, the Federal Inland Revenue Service wishes to inform our esteemed taxpayers that a 1-month window has been opened for this category of taxpayers to settle their foreign currency tax liabilities in Naira with effect from 1st of March to 31st March 2022. However, this is a one-off window or concession, and the service would no longer entertain any such requests from the tax-paying public. This concession is available to all taxpayers and covers all tax types, except for companies in the upstream oil and gas sector and all foreign currency tax liabilities falling due on or before the 31st of December 2021. All payments must be made before the 31st of March 2022, and upon payment, the relevant documents relating to the transaction together with the evidence of payment must be forwarded to the office of the executive chairman and a copy submitted to the local tax office where the taxpayer's file is domiciled. Mohammed Nami, Executive Chairman, Announcer. The Honorable Minister of Labor and Employment, Senator Dr. Chris Mwabweze Ngige, cordially invites members to its 2022 A session of the National Labor Advisory Council NLAC meeting, scheduled as follows. Date, Monday 7th to Tuesday 8th March 2022. Time 9 a.m. daily. Venue, Radisson Hotel, 4244 Isaac John Street, GRA Ikeja, Lagos. All social partners and state government representatives should note that this meeting will also serve as one of the validation meeting of the labor bills under review. Attendance is strictly by invitation. For further inquiries, please contact Director Productivity Measurement and Labor Standards, Federal Secretariat Complex, Phase 1, Abuja, on 0703-616-4091. Dr. Yerima Peter Tafar, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
There is a special invitation. Kogi State Government, in collaboration with the Central Planning Committee, invites the general public to the presentation of staff of office to His Royal Majesty Aga Abaidu Matthew Alhaji Opalua Oguchakpat by His Excellency Alhaji Yahya Bello, Executive Governor of Kogi State. Date is 4th March 2022. Time 9 a.m. prompt. Venue at Tigerlas Palace, Ida, Kogi State. For inquiries, call the following numbers: 08037868592, 08037872751, 08065705896, 08036777736, and 08037159018. Publicity Committee Announcer.
His
Excellency Nyesom Ezenwa-Wike, CON, GSSRS, POS Africa, Governor, River State, cordially invites the general public to the commissioning of the Ahoda Odiemere Uhubogo Odieke Road project in River State. The Ahoda Odiemere Uhubogo Odieke Road project was constructed by Governor Wike to transform the socio-economic prospects of the area, increase commercial activities, and ease transportation of farm produce within and out of those communities. His Excellency, the former Governor of Kaduna State, Ahmed Mohamed Makrafi, will perform the commissioning of the project. Date Friday, 4th March 2022. Time 11 a.m. All invitees must adhere to COVID-19 protocols, including wearing of face mask. You're welcome, Your Excellency, and all invited guests. Announcer Kelvin Iburi, Special Assistant on Media to the River State Governor.
Thanks for staying with us, and just a quick reminder that this broadcast is live on our website nta.ng/live, on YouTube NTA News Online, and on Twitter at NTA News Now, Facebook page NTA Network News, and Instagram NTA Network. The House of Representatives has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to introduce stringent regulations, guidelines and sanctions on points of sale, which is POS operations in Nigeria. The lawmakers emphasized that monitoring and ensuring compliance will curb acts of fraud in POS operations. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that it was sequel to a motion from Representative Jimo Olajide.
None of the financial regulatory bodies in the country is said to know the precise number of POS machines and their operators, a situation that members of the House of Representatives feel will give fraudsters avenue to create fake credit cards to defraud innocent customers or obtain vital information from ATM cards.
Other private companies are currently in the business of giving out POS for business purposes, thus making the business to be more porous and ambiguous.
The motion from Shehu Balarabe requesting for assistance to internally displaced persons in parts of Kaduna State was adopted.
Despite the current effort of Kaduna State government, the affected persons need of attention and support in all ramifications.
7 bills were passed, including the bill to establish Federal University of Health Sciences and Technology, Enugu, from the Deputy Minority Leader, Tobi Okechukwu.
Make comprehensive provisions for management and administration of the university and for these matters.
Among bills passed for second reading is that on the establishment of Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery in Kebbi State, sponsored by Bello Kawuji, and another to establish similar health institution in Imbise, Imo State, sponsored by Emeka Martins. Meanwhile, House Leader Alhassan Adodio has hosted management of Bayero University, Kano, where he stressed the need for those in position of authority to assist in the development of education. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
We can confirm that the Air Peace flight scheduled to evacuate Nigerians fleeing Ukraine from Poland has been postponed. Reports indicate that the flight was postponed following delays in passenger check-in back in Poland. Head of the evacuation exercise, Ambassador Bolaji Akinyemi, and the Nigerian ambassador to Poland, Christian Ugu, further clarify the reasons for the postponement.
The reality is that the flight has been rescheduled to tomorrow, and the main reason is because of the delay in doing the check-in, because they have to gather them together from different hotels, and by the time we will be ready after the check-in, the crew that have been waiting since 9 a.m. had overshot the hour they should have waited, because they have a duty hour which is allocated to them, and they had waited from 9 to 2 p.m. So that means they already waited 5 hours, and they are going to have 9 hours flight. That is already more than what the standard. So the authority of the airport said they won't allow us to board. So this is the reality, and then we have to come down. But arrangements have been made to ensure that we all stay together in the same hotel, and I will leave very early tomorrow, 4 a.m. We'll be in the bus, and then we can join the flight early.
I'm very sure by tomorrow morning the flight will take off.
The protection of women's rights topped the agenda at the Nigeria-China Women's Meeting in commemoration of the 2022 International Women's Day. Elizabeth Omori reports that Nigeria's First Lady Aisha Buhari, in her message to the gathering, called for sustenance of conversations on gender equity, education and empowerment of women across board.
The current global security context, with many emerging threats, call for the protection of women and girls. Efforts to implement women-friendly policies is the essence of this interracial meeting. First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, in a message to the women, posits that inclusion of women in policy making and economic empowerment will foster tremendous development.
The theme of this year's celebration signifies the role of women as mothers, sisters, and daughters in engineering sustainable development. Their role cannot be effectively executed without promoting partnerships.
Human rights activists say gender gap in economic participation should be addressed for women to thrive in all spheres.
The protection of women's equal rights in employment, personal property, marriage, and family still faces practical difficulties.
The meeting featured cultural displays, music, and arts. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NT News.
Well, guess who the latest champion for the eradication of sickle cell disease in Nigeria is? It's President Muhammadu Buhari, and the recognition comes from the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development. Uche Ugochukwu reports that the Minister of Health, Dr. Sagie Hanire, received the award on behalf of the President at a ceremony held in Abuja.
Data shows 150,000 children are born annually with sickle cell disease in Nigeria, and 100,000 of them die from the disease. This rates the country highest with the disease burden in sub-Saharan Africa. NIPRID has been in the forefront of the search for solutions to mitigate this scourge. However, there has been challenges of production and commercialization of drugs until the present administration steps in.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, I want to assure you that the efforts you're making in prioritizing pharmaceutical R&D in sickle cell and other critical areas has begun to pay.
There is a need for philanthropists, development partners, and other relevant stakeholders to engage NIPRID and sponsors some critical research activities.
Successes of the Institute are evident with innovations in herbal medicine therapies and targets of eradicating sickle cell disease in the region by the next decade.
NIPRID is presenting this well-deserved award to President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR.
This will support government efforts to reduce the prevalence and incidence of sickle cell disease in Nigeria, while government ensures that the services required to address the disease and other non-communicable diseases are made available.
I want to recommend that you work with your peers in Africa to scale up production.
As part of measures to reduce prevalence of sickle cell disease, intending couples are advised to go for a genotype test before marriage. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Gombe State government is touting what it describes as steady and progressive pace towards achieving quality and accessible education that will compete with international best practices. This is the threshold of the Public-Private Partnership Agreement signed by the state government and Lincoln University College of Malaysia, which will see the start of academic activities at the Gombe State University of Science and Technology, KUMU, established 3 years ago. Emmanuel Akila has the report.
Hands of partnership on deck, endorsing the agreement for Gombe State University of Science and Technology, Kumo, to become Lincoln University College of Malaysia, Kumo, for a period of 30 years. Gombe State goes into the agreement to bring an end to the dormancy of the licensed institution established 3 years ago.
The coming of Lincoln to join together with Gombe State government in order to set up this university is for us to reach the needy that are less privileged and to give them very high quality education.
Under the agreement, the founders of Lincoln University College would bring in more courses of international standard and to reduce, if not eliminate, the tendency of Nigerians going abroad to study.
We shall try our best in not only develop a fantastic health system in Gombe State, but eventually in Nigeria.
Nigerian Universities Commission and the Nigerian High Commissioner to Malaysia pledged necessary support for the deal to work. President of Lincoln University College of Malaysia left Kumo with the traditional title of Magajim Birning Ako, which means the mayor of Ako. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
The needed change and transformation in the civil service has come. These are the words of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemieso, at the graduation of IG Public Leaders Program. Hamman Jabani reports that the training was in partnership with IG Imokwede Institute and the University of Oxford's Blavnik School of Government.
Olumuyiwa Idowu Ayodeji is an NTA staff who has been with the organization for 9 years and happens to be one of the 49 participants of the AIG Public Leaders Program, whose project, Harnessing Technology in Broadcasting, made the final 5.
By developing an app, mobile application, so that we can use it to broadcast our programs to the world, so that NTA can fulfill its mandate to reach the unreached. And the ultimate goal is to ensure that all NTA stations have one app, and then we have sub-app under it, so that each of NTA stations that you want to watch, you just go and click.
The inaugural program, which commenced in September 2021, offers peer-to-peer learning, a mixture of classroom discussion, simulations, practical exercises, and group work that are aimed at changing the mindset of participants who will, on the long run, transform the civil service while developing the new skill and perspectives to take on top leadership role.
The program aims to deliver on the IG Imokwede Foundation belief that if adequate investment is channeled into building the capabilities and effectiveness of the public servants in Nigeria and indeed Africa, we will close the gap between Africa and the rest of the world.
Civil service must wake up and rise to take the rightful position, because it's like everybody is waiting for the civil servants, but we don't understand that.
You are supposed to think for the politicians by definition. I'm not saying all politicians don't think, but we expect more brains in the civil service than in politics.
The second batch that will produce the likes of Idowu is ongoing to involve 100 participants from Nigeria and other African countries. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Great to see that NTA's own is a winner. Time to go over to Lagos and link up with Michael for some reports. Michael?
Cyril, rather than yield to institutional and other variety of odds stacked against their aspiration to have a gender-equal society, women in Nigeria have expressed a resolve to sustain advocacy and press their numerous advantages in pursuit of deserved recognition at the table. The theme for this year's Women's Day celebration, Break the Bias, is their new inspiration as they converged in Lagos for the Bank of Industry International Women's Day. Adeni Taiwo has more.
It is a fact beyond any doubt that Nigerian women are recognition worthy, not only for their role on the home front, but more for their exploit as key drivers of positive agenda, both on the domestic and international stage. The month of March, set aside to celebrate women globally, always highlight issues affecting them, and Amazons gathered in this hall are unequivocal about getting better deals from the society.
Woman, there is no pouring from an empty jar.
The Bank of Industry International Women's Day celebration offers them a platform to have a conversation.
We tend to underestimate the abilities of women and overestimate the abilities of men.
And we need to go back to the drawing board and check what is happening in the banking sector. How many women are MDs?
From the United Nations Deputy Secretary General to Minister of Women Affairs, Social Development and her colleagues, there is a convergence of thought that Nigerian women must rise above the odds and stay the course by sustaining advocacy for policies that can guarantee gender mainstreaming.
Current governors, thank God, they are emerging to become he for she's, because we see that they're giving us a lot of support.
Come clear with your unity. Come clear with the integration of what you want inculcated in the Constitution.
In this way, we would have left a legacy that will erase the stereotypes associated with women and pave the way for breaking the bias in achieving gender equality.
We must also together ensure that women are best placed to benefit from the current economic transition.
Established to support and promote investment and industry in the country, the Bank of Industry has been using its gender investment portfolio to close financing gaps in favor of women.
For us, this is just the beginning. We will continue to do more to eliminate bias while actively promoting and supporting women in industry.
For its solid support to the cause of women empowerment and gender inclusion, the Bank of Industry was given special recognition with a E for She award conferred on the Managing Director. In Lagos, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Nigerians have been advised to shun all forms of hate speech against individuals and political leaders in the country, but rather focus on promoting peace and unity, as this is non-negotiable. This formed part of discussions at the closing of a two-day workshop on broadcast ecology and politics in Nigeria, organized by the NBC. Dana Jali reports.
Considering the crucial role of the fourth estate of the realm at all times, it is imperative that measures to ensure free and fair elections are put in place. This stakeholders workshop within the media space, organized by the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, seek to sensitize media practitioners to adhere strictly to the ethics of the profession and imbibe the culture of quality evidence-based reportage. Issues raised include voters' education, hate speech, proper research about particular story before it's being disseminated to the public, among others.
Anything that is meant to incite, provoke, or trying as much as possible to make another person or group or race to be a subject of ridicule, we should try in as much as possible to guide against it.
This workshop, which ended, showed that broadcasters in Nigeria are very, very serious about curtailing hate speech and dangerous broadcast, and the resolutions are very explicit.
The NBC is providing a platform for all of us to come together and talk about, the way forward, how to deal with the issues of fake news, which is very dangerous to the society.
For the National Broadcasting Commission boss, there is no better time to engage the media operators than now.
What we are trying to achieve is to bring all media houses together and let us discuss about the election that is coming very soon, so that we do whatever we are supposed to do. We operate within the ambit of the law.
After a fruitful deliberation, participants were able to come up with a comprehensive definition of hate speech that is expected to guide legislative discussion on a proposed law against hate speech. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Don't forget, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on YouTube at NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page at NTA Network News, Twitter handle at NTA News Now, and on Instagram at NTA Network for updates. Time for some message.
Not too much berekete.
Unbracketed Plus Plus is here. Existing Glow customers will get 400% bonus on every recharge and 100 MB data bonus on first recharge of the month. New Glow customers will get 1,000 Naira welcome bonus. To activate, buy a new Glow SIM today or dial *777# for existing Glow customers.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Millions of Nigerians have received
COVID-19 vaccine.
I have taken my own.
What about you?
We have taken our own.
What about you?
I am strong and healthy. What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
We are strong and healthy. What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Go get, go get, go get.
Go and get your job.
The hospitals, churches, and the mosques.
Go and get your job.
Health centers, hurry up now. Don't be late.
Go and get your job.
Bye-bye, Corona. Bye-bye, Corona.
Go and get your job.
This message is brought to you by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA.
Oh boy.
Why can't I go before I lose my cool? I love you even faster difficult.
Are you aware that your perfect family may be under threat by germs? Germs can cause infectious disease. These infectious diseases are amongst the biggest killers of adults and children. Illness-causing germs are everywhere. In unclean bathing water, on your clothes, dirty surfaces, on cuts and wounds. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 capful. In your bathing water, for your laundry, for surface cleaning, for first aid, and to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
I am always thinking about your well-being, so when I learned that 7 out of 10 children in Nigeria are iron deficient, and this slows their growth, affects learning, and can cause anemia, I got worried.
Mom is right. 1 sachet of Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus a day provides 50% of your child's daily iron need to support proper growth and learning.
That's reassuring.
Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus. It's all good, Mom.
Now everybody knows how to play. Enjoy the reward that sharing brings with the Airtel Family Plan. Get bonus talk time, SMS, and data for each family member you share with. Dial *141# now. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Thank you for the rejections. That taught me to keep striving. Thank you for the long hours. That taught me discipline. Thank you for the knockdowns. That taught me to bounce back. And for the unexpected victories. That taught me to never give up. Thank you for making me who I am.
My whole team winning. I just show myself, but my whole team winning.
Get data unlimited to experience Dance Unlimited on Glow TV. Watch Battle of the Year and other amazing TV content with Glow TV data plans that will make you dance. Dial *777# to choose the right data plan for you.
Coming off a heartbreaking loss in the League Cup final, the Blues will seek to salve their wounds when they visit Turf Moor. This Saturday, it's Burnley versus Chelsea on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu, empowered by Integral.
Back in Abuja, business news. That's what Benny Adams brings to the table. Benny?
Thank you, Cyril, and welcome to business.
The Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NETI, has blamed the over 3-week scarcity of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, on the continued subsidy on PMS. It explained that the solution to the country's prolonged fuel crisis was to halt the subsidy regime, as canvassed by stakeholders, but was quick to state that the federal government had its reasons for retaining it.
What we don't have no power to decide, because the facts and the other matters are different, is how and when it should be removed. It's not within our purview. The government is in a better position to consider all other factors which any leader will think about. And that is exactly what I think the president has done. He has considered the social factor, he has considered all considerations. And they believe that, yes, we agree we'll remove, but when and how to remove is something they must do, considering taking the highest premium decision for the welfare of the citizens.
Meanwhile, the NNPC has promised adequate supply in the coming days. And on the oil market, U.S. oil surged to the highest level since 2008 on Thursday, before reversing course as the market weighs supply disruptions from Russia against a possible Iran nuclear deal. West Texas Intermediate crude futures, the U.S. oil benchmark traded as high as $116.57 per barrel, a price last seen on September 2008. Brent crude hit $119.84, the highest level since May 2012. Prices later stabilized, with both contracts briefly trading in negative territory. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been driving the narrative for oil, sending prices surging. A possible deal with Iran has been one factor cited that could bring more immediate relief for a very tight market. And on the capital market, investors lost 34.88 billion naira as the all-share index depreciated further by 0.14 to close at 47,296.07 basis points, as against 0.26% depreciation recorded previously. Market capitalization depreciated to $25.4 trillion from 25.5 trillion naira recorded previously. 243.4 million shares valued at 6.8 billion naira were traded in 7,056 deals. ABC Transport led 11 gainers as against 33 losers, topped by RT Briscoe at the end of today's session. Transcorp, MTN Nigeria, and NGX Group were the most active to boost market turnover, just as MTN Nigeria and NGX Group topped the market value list. That is a business news. Network News continues with Cyril.
Thank you, Benny. 295 persons have been confirmed as certified national accountants from the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN. Nneka Oko reports that the induction, which held in Abuja, was part of activities marking the 2021 mandatory continuing professional development program of the association.
As the President and Chairman of the Governing Council of Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, I hereby admit you into the membership of the association. You can now add the designation CNA.
It's a lifetime achievement for these 295 new members of the Association of the National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN. Their joy now complete as they finally get to join thousands of other professional accountants to advance the science and values of accounting profession.
It's something that I've been looking for several years, but today I'm very much privileged to be part of 2022 inductees.
I promise personally to abide by the rule and virtues of this association.
Like most providers of professional services, accountants have standards that govern their practice, and the president of the association, Professor Benjamin Osisioma, was quick in reminding them of what is expected of them.
We're expecting them to go back to their offices and be different and work in a manner that will show that something has come into them.
More importantly, you are also expected to be members of branches.
Anan has a membership of 45,000 across the country. In Abuja, Neka Oko, NTA News.
And we go over to Ibadan, where Kemi has more. Kemi.
Cyril, and welcome to Ibadan. There has been an outbreak of Lassa fever in Oyo State. Sequel to this is the confirmation of death of a number of people, including 4 health workers. Correspondent Rofia Animation Badmus has details.
The Nigerian Center for Disease Control has activated the National Multisectoral and Multidisciplinary Lassa Fever Center in response to Lassa fever outbreak in some parts of the country. In Oyo State, the Nigerian Medical Association and the state government has reacted to the outbreak of Lassa fever, which has also claimed lives of medical practitioners.
Investigation was conducted and diagnosis came that all the 4 of them were positive for Lassa fever. Surveillance activities has now been heightened across all LGAs in the state. Resources has been deployed as well, protective devices, as well as the drugs.
I received information that 2 other people are dead again, making 4. So it's a big concern to us as enemy. Everyone must be cautious of it, must be aware of it. It's a disease that will always appear as if you have symptoms of malaria or typhoid fever.
Residents of Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, have however appealed to the state government to intensify efforts in its sensitization program on the outbreak of Lassa fever, while experts have emphasized the need for personal protective equipment and personal hygiene by all in Ibadan. Wofia and Marshall Badmos in Ibadan.
The federal government has flagged off 3.95-kilometer road and erosion control project in Ogbomoso, Oyo State. Correspondent Kemioshi reports that the project is aimed at addressing critical ecological challenges across the communities.
The federal government has flagged off road improvement and erosion control project in Ogbomoso, Oyo State, with a call on the people of the benefiting communities to support the project for timely, good and quality. Permanent Secretary, Ecological Project Office, Dr. Habiba Lawal, emphasized that peace and tranquility is one of the criteria considered in determining communities to benefit from ecological projects across the country.
Time we're able to address the drainage system, improve on the roads. The water will find its own channel through the drainage, and of course, it will improve the roads.
Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, while appreciating President Muhammadu Buhari for considering Ogbomoso for the project and many others, joined other indigenes to promise optimal support for the improvement of the socio-economic situation of Ogbomoso land.
To have a self-independent monitoring office. As a minister, I'm committed to that. 2, awareness is important. We're going to rely on the media, but above all, we work with the chairman of this local government to make sure that they also have a role to play.
The road and erosion control project, expected to be completed within 12 months, will also engage more than 150 people of Ogbomoso for and other ancillary services. From Ogbomoso, Kemioshi.
And that's it from Ibadan. We'll be back with Cyril in Abuja after the break.
Bye! Don't worry, dear. I'll take care of it. How do you manage to keep your fabric so white? And how do you manage to keep your house this clean?
I always use Hypo to make our white clothes whiter and to keep our home clean and germ-free.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your home free of illness causing viruses and germs with the disinfecting power of Hypo Bleach.
Thank you for the rejections that taught me to keep striving. Thank you for the long hours that taught me discipline. Thank you for the knockdowns that taught me to bounce back, and for the unexpected victories that taught me to never give up.
But your perfect family may be under threat by germs. Germs can cause infectious disease. These infectious diseases are amongst the biggest killers of adults and children. Illness-causing germs are everywhere. In unclean bathing water, on your clothes, dirty surfaces, on cuts and wounds. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 capful. In your bathing water, for your laundry, for surface cleaning, for first aid, and to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
The family of Udora announces the passing on to glory of their beloved husband, father, brother, and uncle, Chief Udora Chukuma Peterside. He died on the 2nd of January 2022. He was aged 71. Burial arrangements. Thursday, 3rd of March 2022. Vigil Mass at Catholic Church of the Resurrection off Direct Labour Road, Asaba. Time 5 p.m. Friday, 4th of March 2022. Lying in state in the family compound. Body departs from Federal Medical Center, Asaba, for a brief stopover at his residence, Ambassador Leo Okogo Close, off Direct Labour Road, Asaba. Time 7 a.m. Funeral Mass at St. Thomas Catholic Church, Okuanala. Time 10 a.m. Interment follows immediately after Mass at his compound, Okuanala. Reception is at Anala Primary School Field, Okuanala. May his gentle soul rest in peace. Amen. Announcers, Honorable E.O. Udora and Anthony C. Udora.
Coming off a heartbreaking loss in the League Cup final, the Blues will seek to salve their wounds when they visit Turf Moor. This Saturday, it's Burnley versus Chelsea on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu, empowered by Integral.
President Muhammadu Buhari has commended Professor Ben Ayade, the governor of Cross River State, as he marks his 54th birthday, saying that the governor has led the state with courage and commitment to its people. The president said Governor Ayade has piloted the affairs of the state in all ramifications and has achieved success in his years in office, including the difficult period of the pandemic. He asked God to bless him with more strength and good health as it takes the state to newer heights. And that concludes Network News Tonight. Thank you for watching. Remember, the fight against rape and rapists is still on. Stand with the NTA. I am Cyril Stober. Good night.